Nationals are having a leadership spill today. Matt Canavan said on the program earlier that he's standing up to David Littleproud because no one else would. Meanwhile, its coalition partner, the Liberals, are having a spill of their own, a three-way tussle between Angus Taylor, Susan Lee and the newly returned Tim Wilson. Joining us live on this Monday morning is the Liberal Senator Holly Hughes. Good to see you this morning, Holly. So who are you taking out of the three?
Well, I think I've been pretty clear all along who I'm supporting. I haven't shied away and I will be heavily endorsing Susan Lee into the role of leader. I think not only has she got an enormous amount of life experience that she can bring to the role that will help her expand our base, not just try and appeal to a very narrow sliver of the base. But we're talking about a woman who's got 3 degrees in finance. She didn't just write an essay on a former British Prime Minister. This is a woman with a Masters of Tax Law, a Masters of Accounting, as well as a degree in economics. She sort of covers every single base. I saw this morning that Tim Wilson's thinking about throwing his hat in the ring. I'm not quite sure. I think he might be a little bit late to the party. If people are hitting the phones today, they've probably missed the boat just a little bit.
Okay, I will get to that in a moment because I think it's interesting. But just back on Angus Taylor, because you were brutally honest with your assessment of him last week. Does he or him partnering up with Jacinta Price change anything for you?
Pete, I was in a growing state of fury yesterday after I saw some tweets from George Christensen that clearly people of the so-called right were already in the stages of a coup against Peter Dutton before he had even lost his seat. There was, I don't know if you've seen them or your viewers have seen them, but reports of a Liberal MP getting a phone call from a contender's wife trying to garner support for him long before the election was even over, and I'm talking a couple of weeks before the election day. I am someone who was knifed at the hands of, and I have firmly said that I believe Angus Taylor had a very big hand in that, and I said it a year ago, but I, for a year, was incredibly supportive of Dutton. I remain incredibly supportive of Dutton and have absolutely done everything I could to support the Liberal Party because I do believe we are a party of government and a party that will be better for the Australian people. Yet it turns out those were more interested in their own ambition, not for the country, but for themselves, and were planning to topple Dutton whether he had won his seat or won the, it just beggars belief that these people think they can now throw their hand in the ring for leadership positions. So
Jacinta Price doesn't change anything for you on that front?
Absolutely not. Look, I have all the respect in the world for Jacinta, but I've also worked alongside her in the Senate. To me, it feels like turning up to an RSL club with a membership form and then saying, by the way, I'm going to run for the board and I want to be president. It just wouldn't work that way. I think Angus Taylor has insulted not only every Liberal woman, but every Liberal Party member in the parliamentary team by saying, look, none of you are quite up to the job. I've had to go and recruit someone else. I find it completely offensive. There's plenty of talent in the Liberal team.
So let's go to some of that now because more than a few people have said neither option is a compelling one when it comes to Susan Lee or Angus Taylor, which takes us to Tim Wilson because he's not tainted by the last term. He can prosecute an economic argument and is quick on his feet on a range of different issues. So does that not score for him?
Look, I think Tim's great. I've known Tim long before either of us were in Parliament. I'm just not quite sure turning back up after 3 years out of the parliamentary room is the right thing to come in and say, hey, hand over the leadership. Maybe if he was interested in the deputy leadership, that might be another matter. He did an incredible job prosecuting the franking credits case. Tim is not someone without talent. I'm just not sure turning up after an absence and saying, hey, hand me the leadership's the way to go.
Sure.
But I'm just one vote in the party room.
Yeah, no, I mean, he'd prosecute the taxing the plans to tax unrealised gains too, which I think was a big miss from the coalition on the last election.
I think that is just another example why Angus Taylor shouldn't be leader. He was shadow treasurer, yet we had zero economic narrative. And the fact that he wasn't able to prosecute a case on unrealised gains is breathtaking. I mean, this is the guy who tried to take the Liberal Party to the election opposing tax cuts. I mean, seriously.
Oh, we know it's a retirement tax that was staring you in the face.
This is an inheritance tax that's coming down the barrel at a rate of knots. And the fact of the matter is, people talk about the bank of mum and dad. The bank of mum and dad might be severely depleted for the next generation because they didn't understand what the Labor government wants to do when their parents want to pass on the house.
All right. Good to see you as always, Holly.
Thank
you. Chat to you soon.